Welcome to Gay Like Me Conversation.
Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig TheWriter Stewart, and this is So Much to Say YouTube TV. These are my thoughts, in my voice, on black shit, white shit, gay shit, and everything in between. Now, So Much to Say YouTube TV is the place that you come to learn and grow. So go ahead and hit the like button, the share button, and the subscribe button. And turn on that little bell so that you get a notification every single time that I go live or I upload something new. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
What's up, y'all? It is your boy KeonStafford. Welcome to my official YouTube channel where we laugh, we cry, we talk shit, and most of all, we have some fun. So while you at it, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and hit that bell so you won't miss me live weekly. While you at it, follow me on all social platforms at The Real KeonStafford. So until next time, bye.
What's up, everybody? I'm Craig TheWriter Stewart.
And I'm your boy KeonStafford.
Welcome to the Thursday Night Live,
where we give you funny shit
to take your mind off the bullshit.
So sit back,
relax,
grab a drink,
and enjoy the motherfucking show.
They talking about no sound. I'm sorry.
I'm sitting here talking shit. Give me the controller.
No!
He don't even know how. He always he hitting the fucking mute button. I'm sitting here talking shit. I'm gonna say it again.
We're gonna start over.
I'm gonna start it again. I said, what did I say?
For all y'all talking shit.
For all y'all in here talking shit.
Jackie Chapman.
We're going to need a Cash App and or Zelle from each of you that was talking shit. Now, we do have our court stenographer in here tonight, so he will be going through the notes to see who was talking shit, and we expect a Cash App or Zelle by tomorrow. Are we blocking you? No, just like, what's up, y'all? Cheers. Cheers. Yes. This is a margarita.
It's good. Damn, girl, you want me to get pregnant tonight? Shit. She stay clean, honey. You know how many kids out in here told me that this cat stay clean, and then I got down there and it wasn't clean. Girl, let me tell you something. I had to hit him with one of these. Look, I had to do one of these. That's you. Oh, girl, I ain't gonna be like that, honey. I've done that before. Somebody said I'm still mad at Keon from ending the exit. Girl, could you turn on the heater? I know. It's hot. Ain't it hot in here? I thought it was just me. Y'all see, when you're rich, you can turn your phone down and heat it down from your phone. I ain't got like that. I need to walk over there to my thermostat. Go ahead and say it. If I would have got the new teeth, I could have got it. Go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it. If you didn't fly to Detroit to get them teeth, you could have got you an Echo. Okay. Look, one day. Okay, so I gotta finish my food. I don't hear nothing about me snacking. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this, and then we're gonna jump to our conversation. Go ahead and run it though. Right. So, for those who haven't seen, this is Meech. Somebody, they talking about, hey, Meech. This is Meech. Meech is back. He wanted to come sit and talk with me and my good old auntie right here. Y'all seen Meech, me and Meech live on Tuesday. Yes. So we gonna start this conversation because Meech said he got something to say on the conversation that we was having from yesterday. So it's just like a 3-part conversation because me and Meech talked about it a little bit on Tuesday. Me and Craig talked about it yesterday, and then here go tonight. So I want to hear from Meech. Why did you want to jump in on the conversation? Like, what was it that you wanted to? What did you hear us say, or what did you want to contribute? Like, why?
I just had a conversation. I just had thoughts about the whole video, his relationship before the video, his attitude, and presence after the video. So I just had an overall thought. I did watch y'all show last night. I like how you said that it's how you wired. I love that
sexuality
because I think your natural aura is going to just migrate to what you find is best for you. But you know, I did have thoughts that like maybe he's, you know, when you living in a confused state, you don't see things clearly. And I also think, you know, his failed relationship probably has a lot to do with, you know, like
you talking about this pastor person, just to bring the people up to speed. The one who said he's delivered, he's no longer gay.
Right. You called him a pastor person?
Is he a You said he was a.
I didn't say he was a pastor.
Well, is he a pastor?
No.
Oh, well, where did I get that?
The people in Craig, they saying that the Wi-Fi is messing up real bad. They saying Craig said he had better internet. They said it's freezing a little bit.
Let me open up this back door. It's a little warm.
A little bit. Right. And I'm
Y'all can't blame my computer because the bitch right now, so you can't say it's my computer.
I ain't convinced yet.
So is we back good? Working?
Let me see. I don't even. Is there anybody that it's not freezing for? It ain't freezing on my end. That's your shit.
Somebody said yes, it's freezing periodically. They were saying, who is this? A lot of people saying it's Meech. Somebody said it's Meech. We love on him.
Ooh, thank you, y'all.
That's right, Keon. It's not you. Yeah, it ain't my goddamn computer. I'm gonna spend all this money, shit.
They said it's clear on Keon's channel. How's it clear on his channel? It ain't clear on mine. The stream from the same.
Somebody said it's better now. The moment you got up, Craig.
I do bring a lot of electricity.
They said it's better now. We're just gonna keep rolling with the show.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Okay, I said he was a pastor. He's not a pastor.
He's not a pastor.
So we were talking last night about somebody that put something out on social media. He's no longer a part. I was going to say he's no longer a part of the community. He's saying that he's been delivered from being gay.
Yeah, I think you got to. I think you can't start with the video. I think you got to tell.
Okay, so
how we got
recap
to
it.
the video. So this is a person who
Y'all know him personally?
I've met him a couple of times. Keon is associated with him.
He lives here.
Yes. So he is a influencer.
Okay.
He has a brand that's very well known in the city.
I'm trying to figure out why y'all guarding him and who it is.
Oh no,
because
I'm not
he
guarding
posted
him.
it, didn't he?
This is another thing y'all was talking about in y'all's video last night. Keon didn't want to say his name because Keon is friends with him.
But didn't he post the video?
He did post the
So
video.
why is it
Keon
secret?
still don't want to be attached to say.
Well, tell me who it is and I'll say it.
No.
Go ahead.
So, in my opinion, he's what, 26, 27 ish?
Yeah.
And he's been in a relationship for about 3-4 years, maybe.
So he didn't get out of a relationship because he's no longer gay?
He's out that relationship, and the person he was in a relationship with is another gay influencer who has another brand that's very big in Atlanta. They've had. I'll show you. They've had multiple breakups and issues, quite frequently. I'll just put it like that.
Okay.
And at the time that this video was made, it seemed to be in the middle of the night. He seemed to be either intoxicated or very upset.
But he's delivered.
I couldn't tell which one it was. And I know that when they broke up before, he had made a similar comment about being done with guys. He shouldn't do it, blah, blah, blah. So I think this was just like that. It's not working out with guys, da, da, da. So when he made the video, to me, my issue was I never feel like if you're really doing something authentic, you don't need to punch down. You know what I mean? But I think a lot of people who are delivered always punch down because they think that punch down gets them accepted by the straights even more.
So do you think, you said a lot of people who get delivered, do you think that people can be delivered from sexuality?
I don't think you can be delivered, but I do think that you can live the rest of your life a different way.
You can abstain, like I said last night. You
You
ain't delivered.
use that word.
Yeah, you ain't delivered. You just decide that you're not going to have sex with
But
the
to
same
them,
sex.
that is delivered because they're not actively doing it.
Not if the desire is still there, though. You ain't delivered.
Right.
To us, in a logical world, that makes sense. But to somebody who's living in that state of
They in denial.
loss, confusion, identity mix up or whatever internally, they see it as that.
I see it as denial.
I think a lot of his decisions to make that video and post it and make that statement is based upon the track record of the last 3 or 4 years. And to me, it's not authentic to me, because if you truly feel you want to be something or go a different direction, he wouldn't have went about the video in that way. Because there was really no like epiphany or like no
Sort of
like,
revelation.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was just more like, I'm tired of going through this. I'm tired of arguing with him. I'm tired of people's judgment. I'm tired of that. But if that leads into your decision, then that's not really
right.
It's not right.
Because it's almost like I've had gay people over the years that I've heard say, "Oh, I'm done with guys. I'm just going to stop dealing with that guys. I didn't have all these issues when I was dating women."
Right.
And I have said to them, "Well, how many women did you date?" "Oh, I only dated one girl." Okay, but you dated 8 or 10 guys.
Right.
The ratio is off. So of course
The
you're gonna have
comparison is off.
the comparison is off. So of course you can say that you've had more issues with dating men because you've only dated one woman.
Right.
And then going back to something that you said a moment ago, when you said sometimes when these people say that they're delivered, Donnie McClurkin, they punch down on the community because I do think that they're trying to be accepted
Right.
by the straight community. It's almost like, oh, he really like Andrew Caldwell.
Because yeah,
You talk about all of a sudden you deliver. Now all of a sudden everything that you say out of your mouth is a disparaging type comment about queer people. I'll just say queer, whether it's trans or gay or lesbian. You always got something to say now. It's almost like you're trying to prove to the straight community, oh, he really is delivered.
Right.
Or it's just like these pastors
Or
of these churches who talk about the gays because it's their way of trying to convince their congregation, oh, Pastor such and such couldn't possibly be gay because he stays preaching about that. Yeah, they usually do preach about the stuff that they have afflictions with. And also the ones like Jamal Bryant. Jamal Bryant is not gay, but Jamal Bryant, when he was in Baltimore, remember I'm from Baltimore, he was dealing with some young girl up there, and the rumor was that he had gotten some young girl pregnant. And that church sat him down. And his membership plummeted. But he used to always talk about affairs and adultery. And so again, the thing that people stay on the most is usually the thing that they struggle with.
I totally agree.
Keon, what you want to say?
He don't want to say much because he knows that Greg gonna see the video.
No, if he see the video.
Oh, I'm gonna see the video. We're gonna see it when we get off this live.
If he see the video, that's fine.
And you'll be able to see it on the Craig and Keon Patreon because I'm definitely gonna say it.
However, like I said before, and I'll say it again. I the only thing that I really he just like how it was a sin and stuff like that. I don't agree with him on that. Like it's not a sin.
It wasn't a sin when he was fucking and sucking dick.
Right.
And
So I don't think that it's a sin. I don't think
being gay is a sin.
Yeah, I don't either.
I know a lot of gay folks and straight folks think that, but go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll finish.
Yeah, I don't think it's a sin. So for him to say that, like you said, it was like punching out the community, and it's just like I've been knowing you from this age all the way to this age, and you've been a punk all your life.
Because to me, he's
Even a
gay.
what?
To me, he's gay.
He wanted the gays that
He
But I will
was
say
more
he can be-
feminine than now. Like he kind of grew into himself a little bit.
And I think that has a lot to do with what he's surrounded by.
It does.
It's not when he's by himself and posting, he's very feminine.
Yeah.
He's with Ari and all of those people.
Oh, he's
and
saying
all
names and
private
stuff?
jets and stuff like that.
he on private jets. Come on, bitch, to say the name. I believe you can do it. I believe you can do it. Say the name. They said his name.
They said his name plenty of times. They said who he is, who he used to date, and everything.
Oh, well, give me the thing so I can go up here and look.
No, it's way after. But this is another thing.
Well,
that
they've
I have.
already said it. Say it again, y'all, so I can read the comment this time.
Another problem I have with the video is, when you are an influencer like that, you have to be what I consider social awareness.
Right.
Where you stand stuff and how you stand stuff.
I agree.
For me, a large part
I
of
eat Craig.
a large part of his
I eat
support.
Craig.
Wait, hold on.
Was you a social influencer?
Hold your thought. Don't forget your thought. Go ahead.
I eat Craig.
And what?
What's that line you just
Your
said?
social influencer. Social influencer.
Social awareness.
You don't think I'm social
I
awareness?
eat Craig. Because bitch, you say a lot of shit.
But I say the truth. I ain't gonna ever put my mouth on the kids if it ain't true. Now, my mother did say to me yesterday, and it may
gotta be aware of what you're saying.
you do, and
it is true.
and I am because there's a lot of the kids that I don't put my mouth on. Them gospel singers that's out here camouflaging and masquerading like this.
Especially that little one that be hooping and hollering running around. Because you talk about them sometimes, but you don't call them out like that.
Kurt?
But you're gonna say that I need
No,
to.
I'm asking if that's what y'all talking
Well,
about.
why did you go straight to Kurt?
Because he said jumping and dancing around
With that gay son.
But we
with the gay son.
that was over there on the Zeus network.
Said that his daddy could do something to him, and that's how he would.
Well, you know,
somebody said he be saying that song Hosanna. That's what somebody said.
Well,
I said, what's his name?
I ain't gonna tell you what I've heard. I'm gonna tell you what I'm saying too much.
Don't say
I know
that.
somebody that.
Do not. Hold on, wait.
I was talking about my teeth clenched.
Because you know they know to read lips very well.
Yeah.
They know to read lips very
If there's a
well.
black woman in the room, she would have read my lips. Trust me.
Let me tell you, they talking about blowing invisible veins.
But okay, finish it. Do you remember what you were saying?
Yes.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I forgot I was going to say something else.
Go ahead.
Speaking of the social awareness and social influence, I thought about it in a different way. Because my mother called me yesterday. She and my Aunt Gloria were in the grocery store in Maryland. I don't know who the lady is that stopped them. But she said, I know who you are. And the lady broke down and was crying in the grocery store. Was just saying that there was a conversation that my aunt and I were having. And it really touched her because she was going through something. And my mother said to me, and again, I never really thought about it in that way. She said, it's just amazing the kind of influence you have.
Yeah.
And when she said that,
Impact.
yes. So I do get what you're saying. And that's why I try to share things that I know, whether it's me talking about juicing or whatever it is. So I think about that. But what were you going to say?
I think just to add on to that, we should add in some empathy for him.
Yeah.
Because he's 26, you said.
Yeah, still going through something. It's his first major relationship on a unhealthy, toxic scale.
Yeah. Is the partner older?
The partner is a little older and a little bit more solid and stable.
Okay.
So he was always trying to get there.
Yeah.
So, and I've experienced that. But what I was going to say about social awareness is, for me, his brand is very LGBT centric. So when you make a statement like this, you have to think about, it's not just because he is his brand. His social media is his brand name.
Who is this person? I'm dying to know.
So for me, when you make a statement saying, I'm leaving the lifestyle, that's one thing.
And see, I don't have a problem with the word lifestyle, but we'll talk about that now.
That's your.
Yeah, because we gonna turn this around.
The video lifestyle, and then it's on a lot of gay blogs as that.
I'm surprised
So
Greg haven't seen this.
So my thing
I
is
haven't
this.
really been on Instagram.
So my thing is this, guys. When you make a post like this, and a large part of your demographic is LGBT, you have to think about the business implications. For me, as one of his former supporters, I unfollowed him on Twitter, Instagram, and I unsubscribed from his email chain because I feel like
they post so much stuff you can find it on there.
I feel like that it's on. Oh, it's on there.
It's on this.
It's on there. If you,
bitch, I'm trying not to let him find
if you make a statement like that,
Sure,
you're telling a large part of your demographic that you don't respect.
Yes.
So for me, you don't need my money. You don't need my dollars. Now there are some gay people who still go to Chick-fil-A.
So it's two videos
like that,
right?
Yeah, it's 2 videos.
It's I've
But
seen the
for
first
me,
one.
I just wasn't.
I've seen the second one. I'm gonna see the first one.
Because I felt like it's a lack of just common sense.
Yeah.
Like you are your brand, and a lot of your brand is gay based.
Oh, bitch, it's 3 videos. I've seen him twice already.
Well, why you ain't showing?
Because I want to go to the original video, bitch.
I don't care to see the video. I just want to see who he is.
Oh, but why you say that was something?
I've been saying I want to see who it was since last night. You tell me what? That's him. I don't recognize him. So he had his teeth done too.
But he had pretty teeth when he was little. So this is what I was going to say because I want to kind of
what they saying in the comments?
Where the partner?
Oh, he might not be on here.
You know his page?
Yeah, but I want to kind of curve it a little bit. So last night I said that I was on the I was going to dot.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh, So I was just trying to see which picture I was in there. So last time I said that I was gonna kind of put you in a stopping point last night. So what we were talking about was you said that getting a new identity in the community, right? That's what we ended at when you were saying getting a new identity in the community. However, I feel like we had we agreed to disagree by seeing your point after you explained it, because I felt that last night when you said that if you had a chance to choose, you would be straight. Remember we was having that conversation?
Yeah.
And I still feel that I disagree with that, because like I said to you, I feel like after you explained it kind of made sense a little bit, but I still stick with my opinion, because I feel like for you to be pro-black, pro-gay, and you're always speaking, I feel like, and then you get ready to be on the platform with speaking about gay and everything like that, I just feel like people are going to kind of, and I've seen some people comment last night, I seen some people was with you, I seen some people wasn't with you, but it kind of give you a side eye like, damn, like you speak so heavily about Black people and gay people, especially us in the community, but if it came off originally, like it's something like in the back of your head, like if I had a choice to choose today, I would be straight. And then you said something like, okay, I would want to have kids, and etc. And I was like, well, you can have kids while you're gay.
I said that.
Yeah,
That's one of the social awareness things.
But what I'm saying is no. So I said after you explained it, it kind of made more sense. I'm talking about from the beginning. Then it kind of make you look side eye like, hold on, bitch. Like, well, I still disagree. But even after you explained everything, I kind of got with you a little bit, but I still didn't like the fact that you said if you had a choice, you would be straight.
Let me clarify, because I don't think you watched that part of the video.
I did.
I said, yes, you can still have children and be gay. I can go and adopt or
you did say that.
Get a surrogate tomorrow and have a kid. So it's not based on me having children. What I'm saying is, if God said to me when my spirit was coming through, do you want to be gay? Do you want to be straight? I would choose to be straight.
Okay.
And
Pause. You would choose to be straight. Keep your
What
thought.
would you think?
What would you think?
What would you choose?
I would be who I am because I've been myself so long. I don't know nothing else. I wouldn't want to be.
Okay, so you both are saying the same thing, that you both would be gay.
But to me, if we stop pausing at this point in the conversation, to me, I'm all about what led to the decision. Because gay is a very hard lifestyle to take on.
That's what I'm saying.
There's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of inner homophobia. There's parents. There's church.
And then you try to have relationships with people who haven't done their work,
or just they wasn't raised to love another man. So
nobody was
learning it together.
You're learning it together, and that's what I'm saying. I don't want this uphill battle.
But I still don't understand.
But I accept it.
Just my opinion. No judgment.
Yeah.
I still don't believe, even with all the things we just named out that are hardships for gay people, that leads to you would still want to be straight versus gay.
Well,
if you took away all of those things, if it was socially accepted, family accepted, it wasn't a sin in some people's life, all of that, you would still choose straight over gay? If there was no backlash from being gay?
My decision is not predicated on that. My decision is like what I said last night was, I would choose to be straight. However, if I was straight, I know that I wouldn't be the creative person that I am. I wouldn't have written any in the books, because I think gay people or queer people are the most gifted and talented people walking the face of the planet. And y'all can debate me and argue me if you want to, but I think by ratio, queer people are the most gifted and talented people. Now, I'm not saying we're the smartest, but we are the most gifted and talented.
The brain is our brain.
Exactly. So that's one. So I wouldn't have written any of my books. My life wouldn't be the life that I have. So I wouldn't have written the stage plays that I've written. I wouldn't have the greeting card business. I wouldn't have any of that. So I love that part. But the piece that is disconnected, and again, I believe that God gives us the life that we're supposed to have. I deal with the life that I have. I'm not walking around feeling like, oh God, I wish I wasn't gay. That's not what I'm saying. The question was, if I could choose at birth to be straight or gay, which one would I choose? I would choose the road that I believe would be the smoothest. That's what I'm saying. Because if at this point, at 46, my motherfucking ass will be married. I would have children. I would have a wife that you understand what I'm saying? And what I'm saying is by ratio, most of us are single and don't have that. What I'm saying is I would want the companionship.
Earlier than later.
Correct. Like, because the thing is, typically, and I'm not saying that straight people have it all figured out because they don't. I said this last night. I have a balance of straight friends and gay friends. So I know that they got some bullshit in their relationships too. I know that they cheat, and I know a lot of stuff. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, when I look at my friendship circle, when I look at your friendship circle, I'm just meeting you. If I look at your friendship circle, I'm pretty sure a majority of them motherfuckers is single. And I'm pretty sure that if we did the math, the average relationship is probably 1.5 years. Right. And what I'm saying, average. I don't even. And what I'm saying is, if I was a straight person, if I was a straight man, if I wanted to be in a relationship, I could be in a relationship because women are driven to be in relationships.
Agree.
And so that's all I'm saying.
We talked about that the other day.
That's all I'm saying.
I mean, now that you explain, I still think social awareness is important. So I mean, I would have said this on this, but I don't even think what you're saying is debatable. I think it's just common sense. First of all, men and women, we know who's penetrating who and who's receiving. Yeah. Gay men have so many obstacles just to get to the table. Right. Are you this? Are you that? Right. Are you fit with what I need? Right. We have so much just to get to a relationship. Correct. Because when you go up to somebody, I don't know what your sexual thing is. You don't know what mine is. So we have so much just to get to the table. A man and a woman is just boom. Correct. Do you like me? Do I like you? Right. And that's we have so much pre-work. That further supports what I'm saying because there's so many layers. Yeah. Before I even get to, hey, I'm Craig, these are my hobbies, these are the things that I like. You got to get to, okay, are you out to your family? Are you still struggling with your sexuality? Right. Are you a top or a bottom? Are you this, that? Do you have a job? Do you have are you fucking in the park? Are you online? Are you going to bathhouses? Like, there's so many layers before you get to, how you doing? Nice to meet you. I get that. That's what I'm saying. It's like all of that stuff I would like to circumnavigate. Yeah, I mean, I still don't know that my decision would include the smoother route. I still would pick the route that felt I want y'all to stop saying. Could y'all please stop saying the smoother route? I believe
just because you're straight. That doesn't mean
that's not what I'm saying.
Look.
Yes, I'm not saying. I preface what I said with they have issues in their relationship.
They do.
I have so many single. I believe it would be a smoother route if I was a straight man. That's what I'm telling you. No, I'm not saying that it's smoother for straight women, but it would be smoother for a straight black man. I agree. Because you know what I'm saying. If I was a straight black man, if I wanted to be in a relationship, there would be women available. But straight black women don't have that luxury because a lot of men are on some fuck shit. And then when you get to the gay side and you got 2 gay men, a lot of times that same fuck shit. I remember years ago, a friend of mine said, oh, so y'all deal with the same bullshit that we deal with? Men, I would think that men, I would think that men didn't play as many games with y'all because you're both men. And so the power dynamic, no. There's a pride thing. You got 2 men with pride.
I agree with you on that. I agree with both of y'all on that part. I just don't agree with y'all saying it would be
like the wordplay.
I just don't agree with y'all saying it'd be a smoother ride.
But it would be economically,
correct. And you pay all the motherfucking bills down there in South Georgia by yourself.
Okay, but if I was 2 years ago, you couldn't even get tax benefits. You couldn't get married. You couldn't even have your spouse and your insurance.
Come on, somebody.
It would be a.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think that he's saying it would be a happier.
I'm not saying that it would be happier. I'm saying it would be a smoother ride. Because the thing is this. When you think about, there was something you just said I wanted to jump on. I can't remember what it was. I know.
Right through y'all off.
Yeah, no, it was something he said, and I didn't want to cut him off.
What was it about?
You said tax benefits. Oh, because relationships already are tough. Mm-hmm. Straight, gay, whatever, naturally. And then when you compound that with I'm gay, identity stuff, then we black. Then I can't add you to my benefits, or we don't talk about salary because you're a man, I'm a man, and you really aren't proud of your salary. So you don't really want me to know that your salary is not that
Well,
great.
the last
Or
one,
your
Social status does.
Yes.
matter a lot.
the last relationship I was in, he was the only person, or the person I ever dated who knew what I made. I never shared that with nobody else.
But here's my thing to that. Every relationship that you got in, I didn't say every person that you dated, every relationship you got in, you should have been comfortable enough to have conversation about money.
It's not that one.
More than why didn't anybody know? Because
But
let me say this.
I think you
Because
can talk about money without talking about salary.
But my thing is, how do you get into a relationship with somebody and you don't talk about salary? Because then you don't know the strength and the power of your relationship if you don't talk about money. And you can do something as personal as sucking dick and fucking, but you can't talk about credit score and money.
I think that's.
How do you build with somebody and you don't know what they?
Well, I knew what that was making. They knew what I was making.
That's what I'm saying. That's a problem.
No.
That's a problem.
We talk about this on the podcast.
Conversation. I think that's a more advanced conversation.
My thing is,
2023 dating in the gay scene.
No, what I'm saying is, if you are taking your relationship to the next level, then that salary should not be off limits.
Just remember how you just said.
But
you just said a year and a half relationships. They ain't taking that next step in a year and a half.
Well, y'all moving in. Y'all moving in 6 months.
Y'all.
You come on. And I'm not saying you, but come on now. We're gonna be honest about this.
I moved in again.
Hold on. You know that. Thank you, Shell. Shell's that they're young. But the thing is, you know the gays, especially the lesbians. Them lesbians moving.
I think lesbian is totally different than gay.
It is, and I'm gonna have a conversation.
Totally different.
It is.
They're moving in a month.
Correct, but what I'm saying is, you know that the
They will.
You know
I'm not moving into this.
you may not be, but when you look at the community, we're not talking about us as individuals. Look at the community.
But remember, the
See,
majority of the community is single, so most of them is not moving in together.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. The majority of the community is what?
Single.
Correct.
So they not
And then
moving
y'all dating, but you call it a relationship because you've been dating for 2 months.
That's not a relationship.
That's not a relationship.
But y'all call it a relationship. Oh yeah, that's
I
my.
don't.
Y'all not gonna sit here and act like y'all ain't heard people sit here and say stuff
No,
like
I
that. We're not talking about us. We're talking about the community.
I never
We're
did the
talking-
community.
We're talking about the community. We ain't talking about us as individuals. We're talking about the community.
Some of them said they want the link. Some people want to come on. I'm gonna drop the link.
Like y'all gotta be real now. Like we're not gonna say
We're being real.
right, but we're
I'm
not
talking about
because see
me,
the
not
thing, but we're not talking about us. We're talking about the landscape. We're not talking about us. That's the same thing that some of you all do in the comments. Well, like Aaron in DC. Well, I'm with my partner. We've been together for. We ain't talking about you. We talking about the community. When you look out,
friends is more like me. That's probably why.
are the majority of your
My
friends
perception is
are the
different.
majority of your friends in relationships or single?
The majority of my gay friends.
Correct.
I probably think it's 50.
The majority are single or in a relationship.
Of my friends, my gay friends, I would say 75 of them are single.
75%.
Yeah, of them are single.
And most of mine are single.
I would say because mine have been long. Like I've had the same core group of friends since I was probably 12.
Mm-hmm.
So they will, you know what I mean.
Aaron said, "Now why am I in it?" But and listen,
Wait, but what's the topic?
because I saw somebody in the comments say, "Well, what's wrong with being single?" No, stop breaking down what we're saying.
Right.
No one's saying that there's anything wrong to be with being single.
Right.
That's not what we're saying. Stop hearing what you want to hear. What we're talking about, we're just talking about the landscape of the community as a whole. Hold on.
Yeah, I ain't gonna bring it.
Like it's not that we're saying. I'm not saying that there aren't people who deviate from that because I ain't never moved in with nobody in no 3 months.
Somebody said me and my partner moved in after 4 months and we just celebrated 31 years together in January.
And that's an exception. That's an exception.
Congratulations.
That's not the rule. Again, those are isolated incidents.
But Fantasia, her man married in three weeks.
Again, the exception, not the rule. What I'm saying is we're not talking about us. We're talking about when you look out at the community, what's going on in the zeitgeist. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, hold on. So it's like when you look at, see, I lost my train of thought.
Okay, get it back.
But this is all sprung off of what's more smoother, right? This is the
So look,
So actually, segue because we
really haven't even gotten to what we were talking about last night. What I wanted to talk about last night, which which was where we
That's
paused.
where we should go now.
Right, was
But bitch, I would say what I want to say. First.
what was the whole notion of how so many gay men are okay with just casual sex, threesomes, having.
Let's let him finish.
Yeah.
Go up and then we come back.
So what I was going to say was, I forgot half of it. But what I was going to say was, I think in the world, so that's all I'm going to say, gay and straight, it has shifted to more of people be gay. It has shifted to more of people having hookups and like
Doing threesomes.
Like you just said, you have a friend who is a girl who have casual and random sex. I have girlfriends who are shifting going to that as well. So I don't think that it's just also in gay. We
I
live
think it's generation based, not sexuality.
that's where I was going. That's where I was going.
I
It's
said
more-
that last night. You're not gonna sit here and try to act like I didn't say that. Shit
I
last
remember
night.
you saying that.
I did. I said I had a
Based.
please tell me I said this last night. I said when I was in New York, Mike and I had a conversation, and we were saying that it feels like people are moving away from monogamy, and people are moving more towards open
Okay, you
relationships.
did say that.
I
You
know I
did
did.
say that. You said that.
I know.
I took notes, niece. Why are you trying to read me?
No, because it's like if it ain't you, it's them trying to take and contort what I've said.
So now your new conversation.
So the new conversation is, I do feel like there's now this, for lack of a better word, I'll say this awakening.
Mhm.
It's like people are more liberated sexually. Like we've come from a generation where people were more monogamous driven. Even if they weren't really monogamous, it was always this push about being monogamous, being with one person. This new generation and what's happening in the atmosphere now is more so a thing where people are being more expressive and talking about having open relationships, doing threesomes, and all being sexually liberated. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
What I'm saying is, where do those of us who identify as monogamous go? Because it's like, and then what happens is people who know they're not monogamous
Right.
will pretend to be monogamous instead of being, to keep you around, instead of being forthcoming from the gate, instead of saying, you know what, I'm going to sleep with other people. I like you, but I'm going to sleep with other people. I can't be with just you. I want to fuck other people. But people rarely say that. That's why that guy whose video that we played yesterday, where he said, I got 7 children by seven different women. And I told these women before we fuck, I don't want no children. To a degree, I respect him for being forthcoming because most people don't do that.
Let's remember, he did not say that. That is not what the video said. He said the women he got pregnant, he then told him he didn't want children. He didn't tell them before they had the sex. He told them after they was pregnant.
I interpreted it as, I told them I don't want no kids. I told them I would give them the money for their abortion. They told me they wanted to have the kids.
Right.
And
And
now
that's
they're
why it's important to remember. He said, I got them pregnant and I told them. That's a reactive person.
Whether it was or not. But the thing is, it's like rarely, and I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, but rarely will you meet somebody.
The popular thing.
The popular thing to do is to pretend to be monogamous, and then you never really tell the person, oh, well, I'm really not monogamous. Like, I enjoy threesomes.
Right.
I enjoy having multiple sex partners. If that's who you are, then be that. Because I believe that whatever you're looking for is also looking for you. And so if you want to have open relationship, you can find somebody that can be that, and you can have a partnership with that. But if you are not a monogamous person, because I think some people are wired to be monogamous, and some people are not.
Some people don't have the skills. And they don't want to take on the responsibility of another person.
Correct. So, and if that's who you are, then just say that.
Let me say, in my opinion, this generation, starting
But
from
those who are
mine
coming in the
under-
video, I seen y'all come in and y'all click that. Y'all can come back in because I'm gonna bring y'all on.
My thing is, like I said, it's more generation than sexuality based. For me, I'm 34. So, in my opinion, 35 and under is a more anti-institution type of generation where we're just anti-label,
Anti-church,
anti-going to church. I believe you can find God at home. Like, there's a lot, like, we just don't want to, and I'm going to say we because I believe some of these things, we don't want to be told what is the right thing or what is it to do.
Right.
I want to be able to make that decision for myself.
And I agree with
I'm
that.
not into threesomes randomly hooking up, but that's just because of me. And I feel like if I'm giving all of myself out, what I got to myself.
Now,
that's me.
Now, with that
There are
said,
some people
go
who, like I said this in the video with Keon, I know a lot of people who are good-rooted, based, conscious people, but they live in a world that is whore, hoe, tramp, scallywag based. So they feel like I can't find nobody that has the same
mindset
capacity as me, or is monogamous like
that's
me.
how I
so
feel.
They have to adapt to where they live for survival.
I said that last night. I said all of this last night. What I said was,
oh, girl, now
that's right. I said this.
I said this on Tuesday.
I said this last night. I said it's almost like I feel like I'm lost in a community that's open with just having casual sex, fucking in the gym, fucking in the park. You think you're in a relationship with somebody that's being faithful and monogamous and whatever, and they got this life outside of you. They getting up in the middle of the night going to the park. They getting up in the middle of the night going to sex parties, whatever. They going to these deviant things. And my point,
not you put the name out there.
listen, and they all across the country. But my point is, and if that's what you do, that's what you do. I don't care about if that's what
it's
you
just
do.
when you mix it with somebody else's life.
Correct. And my thing is, it just feels like, let me give it to you how I said it last night. Mm-hmm. When I came into this community, because I don't believe that being gay or queer is a lifestyle. When I came into this community, I came in with a set of morals and values. I had a moral compass.
He could say what I talked about with you.
And when I got really comfortable, I felt like I started assimilating. I started to morph into what I saw, what was happening around me in the community. The more I started going to gay pride events, going to clubs, having gay friends, moving in gay circles, it was almost like there was this culture where it was okay to just have anonymous, random, wanton sex.
And now that is normalized.
And it's normalized now. Mm-hmm. And when somebody, hold on, they know, they'll let them sit there because you're interrupting us. But what happens is, when somebody like me or you says this, we're the anomaly now because everybody is okay with this. And if they're not okay with it, they're participating like they're okay by default. And what I'm saying is, at some point, I had to put the brakes on and say, Craig, this is not you. This is not what you've done. This is not who you are. You came into this community with a set of values and morals that your family and your parents gave you. You've abandoned them. You've left them at the door of the community. And I had to say, wait a minute, let me go back and get my values and come back because this isn't who I am. And I think a lot of queer people participate in this stuff and they never really take this time to put the brakes on and step back and say, this isn't who I am. They just participate in it and they do it. They fucking on Twitter. Bitch, what if you want to be a governor in 5 years? What if you want to be a superintendent? That's the shit they gonna pull up and say, is this you with your ass up? Oh no, we can't have you working with children. But we don't think past that. It's like everybody just
don't have the mental capacity to be able to think that.
I think
they have to be able to do that. Like self-work is I think
it's self-work. It's a lack of self-work.
I think we have to remember that self-work, self-love, self-work are hard things to maneuver through.
Correct.
It's not easy to love yourself.
And we live in a society where people want to be accepted. Just like you said earlier, these pastors that are gay, they punch down on the community because they want to be accepted by the straight folks. Mm-hmm. I think there are gay folks who know that doesn't feel good in their spirit, but they continue to do it anyway because they want to be accepted. They want to be cool like the other gays on the Instagram. They don't want. They feel like they're going to be lonely.
I think for me, as we talked about before camera, you asked why did I move here? Uh-huh. I moved here at 33. That's why I deliberately did not move here at 23 because I knew I couldn't do it.
Why?
My other friends did.
Why?
And they ended up just like I thought.
What is that? Why couldn't you move here and how did they end up?
Because at 23, I was very
impressionable.
I would use the word
gullible. Okay. I was being nice and said impressionable.
No, you say it. But like living in Ohio, it's slower pace.
Correct.
People take their time.
Correct.
So during Ohio, I got to be around people who had social status. I've been around millionaires. I've been around people who have families, cars, businesses. When you move here at 23, it goes like this.
You know how many kids I know that moved here to go to Morehouse? I know so many kids that moved here to go to Morehouse and they did not finish. They went to Morehouse, but they didn't graduate.
Because when you step outside,
because they get down here and they go boy crazy.
Yeah, and this is why I tell everybody, because I have friends literally, I have seen it. And I tell everybody, I think I may have told you this too. I tell everybody who wants to come here, who's thinking about moving here, and who has moved here, don't come to Atlanta and let it eat you up, and chew you up and spit you out. because I have witnessed people getting on drugs. I have witnessed people come here and they living from pillar to pole. They don't got a pot to piss in the window, throw it out of. And I have literally seen people like friends that I had to say, "Hey, I love you, but I can't hang with you like that," because of the stuff. Because they used to, like you said, slower pace, and they come in and get. For me, I grew up here.
But I think
I want to hold on. I want to know what you're
trying to
find themselves.
I moved here as a stable, self-sufficient, running.
You knew who you were. Man. It's almost.
I'm
gonna give you a metaphor. It's almost like being gay. I've said this so many times before. Being gay is comparable to being a celebrity. If you don't know who you are, fame will eat you up, and the community will eat you up.
Because the drug that people underestimate is being accepted by external people. Like, just like the fame, like if you're an actor, when you read the tabloids, they're saying you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're this and you're that. It's just like in gay culture. He don't got enough money, he don't got a Benz, he live with somebody, he got a roommate, his teeth ain't that white. It's just like that. You will drive to what you see.
What were you gonna say? You said you saw your friends become what? What were you gonna say?
Atlantaized. I don't know how to say it. They got swooped up.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna say this, and please don't be offended by this. I know so many kids that moved here, and this is not specific to Atlanta, but I know so many kids who came here with an agenda. They came here for school, to graduate, to go to Morehouse, and I write about this in my first book. And they ended up getting lost on the club scene, the sex scene, the ball scene, the party scene, the park scene, the gym scene, whatever scene you think, and they end up becoming HIV positive.
Because of the lifestyle is very on the go. Hitting go. But I will say, since it is very much not just it's more.
No, it's not. It's community wide. It's community wide.
It's the same in DC, just on another social comment.
And I've said that
on another social status level.
Yes, it's the same. It's community wide.
It's
DC, New York, LA.
Houston could be next. Even though it's there, but you got to think about people are migrating over there now. So,
but here's the thing. Speaking about migrating, that's what the kids do. There's a wave of kids that move to Atlanta, then they live here for a little while, and they get tired, and they move to Texas, to Dallas, or they move to Houston, then they move to Miami, or they move to LA, then they move to DC, then they come back to Atlanta, or they go to New York.
I will say that, like, it's not surprising that it happens because, like, if you're 18 and you know you're gay, those years between 19 and 23 of coming to Atlanta just for Pride and MLK weekend, it will, those 3 or 4 days will make you feel like, I should move here. This is what life could be like. So when they do move here, they don't realize the day to day and because they can come here, fly on Friday, and leave out Monday morning, and they're not really into Atlanta like that. They just was on the go the whole time. But when you come here, you actually stay, and it's day to day recruitment, and people want to be your big sister, your big brother, want to be your bestie, and your man, and your side. All of that happens. They're not prepared for that.
But just to kind of,
and I knew I wasn't prepared for that at 23. Right. That's why I would not do it.
Just to kind of go back to what we were saying, I almost feel like, I'm gonna say it. Y'all might not like it, but I'm gonna say it. I feel like sometimes as gay men, we lose our moral compass. It's almost like anything goes. Fucking in a bookstore. You got a best friend, like let's just say you and I are good friends, and I'm secretly trying to fuck your man. I'm not saying that straight people don't do that shit. Right. But to me, it feels like that shit happens 2 times over in this community. It's like I've heard so many stories where some gay boy was fucking her sister, his sister's husband or brother, just because the brother came on to him. It's like, where are our boundaries? It's like it's almost like we lack boundaries sometimes.
Yeah, but I think that's a human thing.
I know it's a human thing.
Anything to do with their sexuality.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying when I look out at the landscape, I'm only looking at the gay community right now. Okay. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen in the straight community. I'm saying that is not an uncommon story. Okay. That's not an uncommon story. We've all heard that story.
I don't think it's uncommon at all.
You know what I mean? And so it's almost like, and I know that there's some just like when
reasons why.
I know there's reasons behind it that support it. Right. Just like there are reasons why Black people present the way that we present in the
Yeah,
world
yeah, yeah.
because of the issues that we've had with slavery and racism and Jim Crow.
Right.
I understand that. Same thing with queer people. It's because society, the Black, especially when you talk about Black, the Black church, the Black family, the Black community has told you that by nature, who you are is wrong.
Mm.
And so you've suppressed this part of yourself for as long as you could. And you may have gotten married to a woman, and then you realized that that isn't the life that you wanted, that you really are a gay person.
Mhm.
So then you leave that family, and then you come and you know, live your truth. But then it's also those that crop of men who recognize that they're gay, but they suppress it for as long as they can, and so then you come out and you're 20. And then it's all those years behind you that you didn't live your truth. So it's almost like you want to play catch up.
You talked about wasted years.
It's wasted years. It's almost like you want to play catch up for all the years that you didn't fuck the guys that were attracted to you or the guys that you were attracted. So it's almost like you're trying to play catch up, and you're on this hunt. You're chasing yourself. You're in search of satisfaction. And so what I'm saying is,
but suppression builds that. When you
Correct.
hold that in so long, then finally you're free to go.
And that's why I have been saying I think every Black queer person needs therapy. You got to get to the root of that stuff, because otherwise it continues and you never really put the brakes on.
Yeah.
You'll wake up and you're 50 and you're still on Jack. You wake up and you're 60 and you're still standing over at Swinging Richards every week, lurking. You wake up and you're 65 and you're down there at the Heretic, or you standing behind a Tara movie theater trying to suck somebody's dick. What I'm saying is,
Oh, girl, you can take it all.
I think there's so many.
there are reasons behind it. But what I'm saying is, if we don't take the time to do that work, you'll stay on that hamster wheel.
But just, I think we can't forget how much strength it takes just to recognize that you need to do the work.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
It
Correct.
takes a lot.
And
of
that's why
you're going, I'm fucked up. I need help. I'm doing shit wrong. I'm causing relationships to fail. I'm out of bounds. That takes a lot of personal strength to say to yourself.
Yeah. You'll find an amazing
And
partner.
if you don't have people who are supporting
to hold
that
you
work,
accountable.
then it's even harder.
And it's like you find a great partner. Because I personally believe that we all, gay, straight, bisexual, pansexual, whatever, I believe we all get the opportunity to have real love in our lifetime. Because I think life would be unfair if we didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But I think so many of us, and I'm not saying that this doesn't happen in the straight community. We're talking about the queer community right now.
I think they should understand that by now.
Exactly, but I got to reinforce it because there's somebody going to be in the comment, well, that happens with straight people too. Girl, we know.
They said it.
Right, girl, we know. But what I'm saying is, I think that so many times we squander an opportunity for love. And my thing is, so I really do believe that many of us, in the back of our minds, we have a fear of growing old alone.
I think love is fearful to like.
You said that yesterday.
Yeah.
You said that yesterday. You said gay men have a fear of growing old.
Even if you haven't experienced it now, wait till you get into your 40s
To me,
or to your 50s.
To me, if in 20 years I'm still by myself, I would not be surprised.
And see, that's what I'm saying. To me, that's sad. That makes me want to cry.
It is sad.
That's sad.
But I think.
Because I think
what? Hold on.
See, you missed it because you're too busy trying to read the comments.
No, because I'm
Say it
saying
again.
in 20 years, if I was a single man, I would not be surprised.
why?
Because it's when I said earlier, I really meant that to the core. I think it's so hard for gay relationships to manifest into work.
And when they do manifest into a relationship, we're so unforgiving. I may not cheat on you, but I do something and then you just can't get over it. And then you're ready to go because you're not built to work through stuff. And I'm going to tell you why you're not built to work through stuff. Because Black men in general, straight, gay, bisexual, are raised in single parent households. So Black men as a whole don't have a demonstration of what it looks like to be in a partnership long term. Because most of us I was raised with my two parents. My primary is, but the majority, we're the exception.
I think
Most of us were raised
if you have the
by
visual,
auntie.
it doesn't mean you have the internal skills yourself.
No, it doesn't mean that you have the internal skills yourself, because it gives you a reference.
Foundation.
It gives you a foundation. It gives you a foundation. And so for me, like that's something that I have looked for in partners and stuff. But are your parents still together? How long were your parents together? You know what I mean? Like to me, that means something.
But you know
I
what?
think you got to do more questions than just those surface levels.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Have you ever
for
seen
sure.
your mom and dad argue? Did they talk about stuff and how to get
For
through
sure.
it? Did
For
they ever
sure.
go to count? Like you can't just say.
No, I'm not saying I just do that. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that's one of the things that I paid attention to.
Yeah.
Oh, well, listen. Listen, I'm gonna need y'all to.
But that is so,
Yeah.
look, so
Yeah.
now when people is interested in me, that is one of the questions I ask.
Yeah.
Have your parents? Did you grow up in a single household, family household, or were your parents together? Because I say this all the time. I grew up with both of my parents together. Now everything wasn't always peachy and cream,
Right.
but I seen them go through and fight through thick and thin. So that's all I know. That's all I know. And like you said earlier, I say this all the time. I think most of us that are in the community have the power to fight through that. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, they give up easily. Hence why after you always say too that you think it takes 2 years for you to really know someone?
I think it takes 2 years for when you're in a relationship with someone. I don't think you really start to scratch the foundation of who that person is until you hit the 2 year mark.
And that is, I honestly believe that just looking back on my experience, not everyone else's experience, and each experience.
I'm proud of you for remembering that.
Yeah, each experience that I have had, was once after that 2 year market hit, I started to see somebody totally different.
Yeah.
And I look back at them because I had been in 3. I stayed, me and 2 of them stayed together.
Mm-hmm.
And the one in the middle, we never stayed together, but we, played house back and forth or whatever. And I didn't know. Well, I'll say the first one, I really knew him, I'll say after about a year and a half. I really but the last one, it really took me about, even though we had stayed together, it really took me about that second year to really know who he was. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely agree with I agree with you.
And that's because y'all weren't friends before the relationship.
I think we were, but
what do you classify as friends? Why do you say that you were friends?
Friends that had never had sex before.
Right. Why do you say that y'all were friends?
No, we did have sex.
There you go.
We did. But also too, we got to know each other. But I will say this, and I'll say this. I was talking about this. I don't know if it was with you or somebody else. But I will say the time that I got with the last person, I think for me too, I was in I don't want to say vulnerable state, but I was in a state where my whole life was changed. You got to think about it too. I was going through changes, and then I lost my mom, and then going through that.
So there was a trauma bond. I hear you saying.
I don't want to say
there was a trauma bond.
I don't want to say that because I did. No, I don't want to say that because I did.
You may not want to say it, but
just because your feelings for them was valid don't mean it wasn't trauma bond.
Right.
I don't want to say that because
okay.
I don't believe that. No, I don't want to believe that. I don't want to believe that because I did really genuinely build a bond with this.
You can. The connection was the trauma. That's what jumpstarted the relationship.
Yeah.
Let me say this though, because I'm going to forget. I've said this on the line before, and I've definitely said it in either my first or second book. I think what happens, going back to self-care, what you were saying earlier, I think what happens with many of us, and myself included, I don't want you all to think that I'm grading you and judging you. Some of this stuff I've participated in, but I have been enlightened. I've been awakened, right? Because I've taken time to get still and really examine myself. Because I think one of the best parts of life is when you can admit the truth to yourself about yourself. But I think what happens with us in the community is we act on the feelings that come with being gay before we deal with the psychology behind the feelings. So we sucking dick and fucking while we still are scared to admit to our people, our family, friends that we're gay, or even to ourselves. You haven't even reconciled the feelings that come with being gay or queer or whatever you are, but you're out here acting on it. You're participating in a relationship. You got people right now that are down here bulldogs. And they go into gay pride events, but they haven't reconciled or given themselves permission to be who they are.
And I think that's because, I think the community is so fast-paced. Like I was in a relationship with somebody who we could easily have sex, but they couldn't look me in the eye and say, I love you.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's in Book of Jewels.
Because they couldn't it was so hard.
Oh, I know.
It was just I love you. Like it was so hard. But we could.
But you can put your dick in me.
But we could lay down.
Raw.
Raw. We could date. We could do all that. But when it came to that specific emotion, it was just like pulling teeth, literally.
But look, you gotta think about it too. A lot of people, straight gay, how many times do you tell your mother, your daddy, your grandmother, your friend, I love you?
Every time.
Wait, what?
How many times growing up? How many times do you tell your? I'm not saying us. I'm just saying in general. How many times do you hear people tell their mother, their dad, their grandparents, or even their friends, I love you? How many times? You rarely hear that. You rarely hear people say that I love you.
I think for me, because I grew up with a mom that's not emotional and a dad that was very militant, we never said I love you. So when I became an adult on my own,
You had to work on
I hang up the phone with my little brother saying, love you, be safe.
Mm-hmm.
But that's great. That's great that you do that. But just imagine people who are like grew up like you, and then they're in relationships and they can't do it because they didn't come from that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so again, but let me say this. Let's get into this conversation about raw sex.
Before we do that, I just want to say there's a lot of, when you say people who haven't done the self-work, in our community, just in my personal experience, there's a lot of people who do not spend any time alone.
Correct.
They get off of work, they go to happy hour, they go to the club, they go to their friend house, they go to the smoke section, they only come home by themselves to go to sleep. And then they wake up and start over. So there's a lot of people who only know themselves in the terms of being with other people.
Avoidance.
Pause. And we talk about this all the time. Why people do that is because they're not happy at their home place.
Or they're not happy in here.
Because and I'll just say this, not to put anybody, when you talk about dating people, right?
Yeah.
I was dating for someone for like 6 months, right? Mm-hmm. And I could not figure out why they was always on the go. I'm like, why are you always on the go? And then I learned their home situation. Mm-hmm. And I could understand why they would hang with anybody who wanted to hang out. Mm-hmm. Because it was an hour or two more that they didn't have to go home.
Yeah.
So when they went home
and faced themselves,
it was 2 a.m, they could just go straight
to sleep.
There's a lot of people in our community who don't spend any time alone. Like, do you even know yourself?
And again, we know that this happens in the straight community too.
Absolutely.
But we're talking about the queer community.
Yeah.
But let me just say this about, can we move to raw sex?
Yeah. Because
but I want you to open it up to what you mean by raw sex. Like,
Prep has made y'all lose y'all goddamn mind.
Oh, God.
Y'all hooking up fucking raw. Y'all going in the park fucking raw. Y'all at bathhouses fucking raw. Y'all at the gym.
I don't think it's just because.
And let me say this. I know that straight people do it as well because I have cousins who have 2 and 3 different babies' daddies. So we ain't the only ones fucking raw.
Right.
I get it. But what I'm saying is, it's like we lack boundaries. We lack self-worth and
fast-paced lifestyle.
We lack self-respect.
I'm cute, let's go.
Right, and it's just like you don't even know the person's name. And again, I'm not saying that I'm exempt from it,
and don't want to sometimes
because I've lived that life. But what I'm saying is, when does the awakening happen?
To be honest,
you letting somebody just come inside of you raw, and I ain't even just talking about HIV.
We talking about PrEP. That's only 4.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. PrEP has made y'all lose y'all goddamn mind. Y'all think that because y'all on PrEP that you can't seroconvert. Mm-hmm. And then you forgot all about super gonorrhea, syphilis, chlamydia, and everything else, herpes.
I want to ask you this, Fred, because you're older than both of us. Do you think? No, because I appreciate you talking to. So let me say this. Let me start with this. I appreciate you talking to us from an older perspective and have experienced stuff. But I feel too that some younger people may have experienced things that you may haven't experienced.
Like what?
Absolutely.
I'm just saying in different things. I'm not going to pinpoint anything.
For sure.
But also, I think, do you think that you would still have the same mindset that you have now had you been born in our generation.
Well, let me say this. I think part of the reason why, and I don't know so much about your generation, but yours for sure. I think part of the reason why y'all are so lackluster and so cavalier is because y'all didn't really see people dying from AIDS. Y'all didn't really see it. Y'all came up in the generation where people still living and they thriving on the medication.
White was out.
But people still die from AIDS, from complications with AIDS.
Yeah.
You know, you see a lot of times, and we're just gonna keep it real. You see a lot of times on social media where somebody died from cancer.
You took the words out of my mouth. It's called cancer now.
Or pneumonia. Or they had COVID. And we know what it is.
But we never say it.
But we never say it.
Yeah.
And I think you're doing a disservice to people when you don't language it as what it is. Because then you give people this false sense of false illusion that, oh, nobody's dying from HIV or dying from complications of AIDS anymore. And the truth is people do still die. And that's why Pose, the TV show, was such a great thing for your generation. Mm-hmm. But I really feel like, because I'm a 70s baby, I really feel like I got the best of both worlds. I got the older generation and I got a little bit, because I came up with the internet. So it's like I think I fell right in the middle. You know what I'm saying?
No, I wasn't being shady. I didn't know you came up with no.
Yes, bitch.
No, I was not being shady. I didn't know you came up with the internet. I was not being shady, y'all. I was not.
Yeah, but no, to your point, I do think that you guys are a bit more cavalier because you didn't see people dying at the rapid pace that my generation and the generations before me saw people dying.
But our generation has benefited from science as well. So we can't see it because there's so much support available.
But I also think that science, aka the CDC and the pharmaceutical companies, have misguided some of you because some of you are of the impression or under the impression that you can't die anymore. That HIV, AIDS,
that medication will keep you alive.
It will keep you alive. And what I'm saying is, a lot of people, majority of the people do survive and thrive. But there are people who don't thrive on the medications. Your strand may be different from this person's strand. And the other part of it is, when you have a diagnosis, and again, those of you that may be watching that are HIV positive, I'm trying to be as sensitive as possible. This is not a judgment on any of it.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, it follows you for the rest of your life. I've dated people that were HIV positive, and it haunted them because it was something that every time they dated someone, there was a point where they had to disclose. Yeah. There are people who don't disclose.
And I mean,
but they had to disclose.
And I talk about this too. I said that in maybe it's probably about 2 or maybe 3 years, my godbrother died from AIDS, right? He contracted it when he was 16. I always tell everybody, living in Florida, living in Miami is a whole nother, you grow up fast.
Miami is in the top 10.
Yeah,
but
so what I'm saying is, so my godbrother, he contracted when he was 16, right? My godmother found out that when he was 20 years old, right? He went to the hospital. He was already full blown. He wound up having cancer. He died. He went in the hospital January. He died in April. So for me, I remember that. And I knew that I was there, but for me, I always said that I didn't want to take her nor my mother through that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, I remember having a conversation with him. I'll never forget. He said, "Always be safe," is what he said to me. He didn't know I was. He probably knew I was gay. He knew I was gay, but what I'm saying is, I wasn't really just. I was younger. You know what I'm saying? I remember him saying, "Always protect yourself." I'll let you finish. He was always saying, "Always protect yourself." But anyways, fast forward to maybe 2 years ago, maybe 3, if that. But me and my godmother, we was having a conversation. I don't know what we was having a conversation about. And somehow we got on him, and we got on protecting ourselves, and we got on to all this stuff. And everybody know I publicly said that I'm on PrEP, right? And we talked about this, and I was explaining to her what PrEP is, and I told her, I said, "Hey, it helps you with this. It helps you with this, but however, you still have to protect yourself because of X, Y, and Z." And I can tell she was like, I can hear her like I can hear her. Yeah. And I said, I don't want you to go back through that again. You know what I'm saying?
What are you talking about?
My godmother. Y'all talking about my godmother because we was having a conversation.
Yeah.
And I said, I don't want you to go back to that, but I remember I heard her say, like,
That is the first
it was like
thing
a sign
an
of
elder
relief.
think about when you say you're gay.
Listen,
But we're taught that if you're gay, you're gonna have HIV or AIDS.
yeah.
We're taught that.
But the thing is,
Aren't black women leading the?
correct. Black women are the number one
Mm-hmm.
infected in the country.
I also want
A
to
certain age bracket.
I think we should also add to this conversation because we started it off by raw sex that we should say that non-promiscuous people still catch HIV.
correct.
Let's make sure we add that.
You don't have to be in the park doing it. I can give you a
Let's
story.
make sure
Remind me
we add that.
to come back to
Yeah,
that
yeah.
because I got a story that's perfect for that. But when I first, in the first couple of years when I was out or whatever, and my mom,
Oh my God! Someone said they had a female cousin at 16 died of AIDS.
my mom called me one night. I was on a date. This was like 2005,
Mhm.
and so I just came out like 2000.
Mhm.
When did I come out to her? Like 2000? No, I came out in '99. So this was in 2000. I came out in '99. This was 2005. So it only been like 6 years, right? And so she called me one night. It was like 10 o'clock, 10:30, like right about now. And I was on a date. I was dropping the guy off to his house. But before I dropped him off, I said, well, do you want to get something to eat before we go in?
Yeah.
So we stopped at this drive-through, and my mother called me while we were at the drive-through. And so I said, Mom, hold on one second. I said, what you ordering? And so he told me what he ordered. And I ordered. So my mother, I could hear my mother through the phone turning over to look at the clock. And she was like, who is that you talking to? I said, it's a friend of mine. And she said, what kind of a friend? I said, it's just a friend. Do you know what she said to me?
Take them home.
She said, you keep it up, your ass gonna end up with AIDS.
Your mother said that?
She said that to me. I said, I'm gonna call you back. I didn't talk to her.
10:30 at night.
I didn't talk to her for about a week.
I think you did tell me that story.
Because here's the thing. That incident taught me that I can't tell her. Just like women don't allow men to meet your children until it becomes significant.
Yeah.
I learned in that moment not to talk to my mother about who I was going out with until it was something official. Because I don't need you think me and this boy hadn't even had sex yet.
Right.
We hadn't even done anything, and she jumped straight to that. That's the first thing I wanted to say. The other thing that I wanted to say was, remind me to come back to that piece about the friend. The other part of it was something you were saying. See, you took so damn long. It was something you were saying. It was good too. It was something.
But I was hovering, but I had to hurry.
Well, I'm gonna come to this story because I can't remember what I was gonna say. But to your point, there was a time in my life that I thought that as long as I wasn't going to bathhouses and being promiscuous and stuff, I was good.
Right.
But I had a friend who was in what he thought was a committed relationship, and he contracted HIV.
Well, I had a friend.
The guy didn't tell him he was positive. And he said, Craig, I knew right, but I didn't do right. And he said, I knew I should have been using condoms. But I do also understand that when you're in a relationship with somebody for a period of time, the condoms disappear.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you the other thing. I think what happens in not even just in our community, just with people in general, I think sometimes when a person is trying to show you that they're really with you and for you, they want to have unprotected sex. They let you know this is something I'm only doing with you.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it costs you.
Yeah. Because the opposite should be true.
Yeah.
By protecting us, that shows even more.
Yeah.
I can't remember what that thing was I was going to say. It was
What's the next segue? We can talk about that.
Please hit the like button. Please hit the share button. Please hit the subscribe button.
I don't even want to talk about because I had wrote something down else earlier. I was talking about I know I would say it, but I really don't want to talk about it because we've been on this subject for so long.
Yeah, let's switch subject.
But yeah, the next thing I was going to say that I had wrote down was that I know a guy who is openly gay, and then he say he's living like a bisexual lifestyle or whatever, and he's gonna have another baby with a girl, so this is gonna be his 5th baby. But he had 4 kids from his first girlfriend or marriage or whatever. Then he lived a long gay lifestyle. Now he's back dibbling and dabbling with females, and now she's pregnant. He having another baby. So I want to talk about that, but we've been on this subject for so too long. I don't want to talk about nothing else gay.
Yeah, let's move past it.
I was talking about nothing else gay.
That's a mess.
The lines are open for those who want to jump in. You want to ask any questions?
And don't call in here and talk about that happens in the straight community. So I'm gonna tear you up because I already know that some of this stuff happens.
Because at one point in time,
I would ask you something. Because I've been seeing a lot of videos about this. What did you think about Will Smith slap on Chris Rock?
because you watched the Chris Rock special.
Because, I'm asking because there's a long marriage involved and outside ears. There's a part of an open relationship entangled somewhere. What are your thoughts about not just about the special, but what are your thoughts about the entire thing? Because I have my thoughts.
And see, it's interesting because, and I did a live about that.
I'm going there, of course.
I did a live about that at the time. I had just finished reading his book.
Will's book? Yeah, I read Will's book too.
And so, if you remember in the book, that was one of the running themes in the book, that he had been walked on, trampled over. You know, he never really spoke up. He never really defended any of the women in his life when his mom was getting abused by his father. The women that he dated, he never spoke up and stuck up. And I just think in that moment, it was a culmination of things, emotions and stuff. He'd been called weak and soft in the hip hop community.
Right.
And I just think in that moment, when Chris Rock was making that joke, he went up on that stage and took it out on him. It was misplaced aggression. And you know, that's what
I don't know if I would use the word misplaced.
Misdirected.
I can say that. Yeah, I would go misdirected. I would say for me, if he was his brother, Chris's brother, Tony Rock, I don't think Tony would have got slapped.
I don't think he would have either.
I think Chris got slapped because of the history that he has with Jada. I know just from my personal watching Jada and him, there's been a lot of social media back and forth, talking about their kids, him talking about her turning him down, a lot of history with them going back to the 90s. So I think him sitting next to her on his biggest night with the man that has been harassing your wife, making a joke in front of white people, because you know, to me, Chris Rock is a white man anyway. For him making that type of joke in that place where they had just boycotted a couple years before, I think he was the perfect target, if that makes sense. Like, he was, not only is he a replication of everybody else around the world, we're talking about Will Smith, he's also a culprit for himself.
But I think that, if it was Tony Rock, he wouldn't have done it.
I don't think he would have done it.
I even took it a step further when I did a lot. He wouldn't have done it if it was a white comedian.
I don't think he would either, because he could have taken the joke. To me, the joke went more personal. Because Jada and Chris's history is very messy.
Right, but then when they started, Will and Jada or whoever started putting out information about her having alopecia, my thing is, why would you assume that he knew she had alopecia? Like, I don't know if that was common knowledge. But the other
I don't think it matters if he knew or not. I think it matters if he.
Right, but what I'm saying is, in social media, a lot of people were like, well, why would he talk about her? She has social media. She has alopecia. She can't control that. I'm like, who?
Even if he knew or didn't, I don't think that matters because there's still the history of them too.
But why do you say that he's a white man? Because I've been seeing that on social media.
To me, Chris Rock is very much a white man.
Why do you say that? Because I've never gotten
all of the statements that he made. He was against Black Lives Matter. He was on multiple shows with white people he loves. He don't mind them saying the N-word. He's very Republican based. He's just a white man in a black man's body.
See, I don't follow him like this. I didn't know that.
His brother Tony is very much black, but Chris himself is very much a white man in a black man's body.
Yeah, so I didn't really follow him.
To me, there's certain things like, to me, I never understood the point of the joke. Like, the Academy came off and said the joke he said about Jada wasn't even in the script. So for me, going out of your way to talk about the 5 black women in picking one of the 5 black women that's there is unnecessary. And it's just like, after the last time I told you leave my wife alone, on the same, because remember when he hosted in 2016, he made a joke about Jada. Will said he reached out to him like, hey, you know, she don't fuck with you like that. Why you still? And then you come back next time when they come to the award, it's on Will's big night too. You know, he done waited all his life to win that award. So to me, it's just like a bully that's really a punk. But he's just like, you know how somebody keep playing with you?
Yeah, right.
After a while,
like a bully.
Yeah. I offered to bring this call in because I don't want to talk about Chris Rock much. That was 2 years ago. What's going on?
Hey guys, how you doing? Hey boy.
All right, how are you out there?
How you doing, Craig? Keon?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. Finally, good to finally actually talk with you.
You too. Where are you located?
I'm out of Norcross right now.
Okay. Oh, you're here in Georgia.
Yeah, here in Georgia.
Oh, hey, how are you?
I'm good. It's good to finally see you guys and talk with you. I didn't catch your friend's name here.
This is Meech.
Meech. Okay. Well, I just was coming on to say I definitely support you guys, and I really enjoyed the conversation. I know it's pretty lively. Craig was definitely giving it tonight, and I appreciate his viewpoints on a lot of things. And I just wanted to say that I will continue to support you guys. I know I'm a part of the Patreon. I hope to
thank you so much.
Give you guys one of my viewpoints, as you continue to have conversation. I'm sorry, I'm not one for the camera, as you can see, but I'm glad to talk with you guys, and I'll be around. So
thank you so much. I appreciate that. I really do. And again, like, I don't expect everybody to agree with everything that I'm saying. I'm just giving from my experience or the experience of people that are connected to me, stories that I've heard, just observing, being a writer, and I just think that as an artist, because I see myself as an artist, it's my job as an artist to provoke you to think outside of the way that you already think. It's my job to provoke you to think differently, to challenge you on your beliefs, what you think you believe. Like, do you really believe that? Or were you conditioned to believe that by your family, the church, or the society as a whole? You know what I mean? So again, it's not about you guys agreeing with everything that I say. I welcome people challenging me. He definitely challenged some things that I said. You know what I mean? So that's what it's about.
It's about being heard.
I love us as a community. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm really passionate about what I'm saying, but I love us as a community. Like, I'm not berating us. I'm not judging us. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to shine a flashlight on and say, look, am I the only one that's noticing this? And sometimes I get lashings for it. Well, Craig, but it comes with the territory.
Well, thank you for coming on.
no problem. See you guys.
All right,
Bye.
the other people fell off.
So what else?
I guess they was waiting for
What's in the comments? What are people saying?
they just really just keying off of like what we've been talking about. That's pretty much it. Some people agreeing with Craig, some people agree with you, some people let me tell you this, and this is no shade to you, Meech, but they don't like when we have guests on here. They hate when we have guests on here. So some people is reading you, some people is for
Let
you.
me see what they say.
No, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm not an argument type. I just want to see what they say. What's the feedback?
Yeah, they overall are enjoying the conversation. They enjoying the conversation, but they are very territorial when
I'm gonna watch it.
we say Thursday night. They really be just wanting me and Craig.
They talk about, you don't want to know what they say. Somebody just said that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not no bitch.
So I said hate it, but no. So I said
But
my
that comes
cigarette
with
was
your, like. But
So I said, no, we
expect
love
that
you.
though. Like, if your core supporters are truly bought and invested in you,
Mhm.
they only have 2 hours on this, so they want 2 hours of y'all.
Hey, they really only get an
that
hour,
makes-
but we've been going over
That
that.
makes sense.
But you know what? But you know what?
But some of them are saying, "Oh no, I like me." Some
Yeah,
of them
some
are
no,
saying,
that's saying some of them say I like Reach or whatever. But what I was gonna say is me. So me and Craig been friends since like 2018, but I still be baffled because like sometimes I'll see him, I'll tell him, I'm like, bitch, we've been recording for so long.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't even seem like we have been recording. So I remember before YouTube, it was just Facebook.
It was just Facebook.
It was just Facebook.
Because my YouTube channel wasn't working right, and Nikki got it figured out. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But that was something I wanted to say right there.
They talk about Team Meech.
Period.
Right. But okay, so let's move into this.
Oh, I gotta ask this question. Right.
That's why I can't.
Can you put your thought in here?
Right. This why I can't.
Go ahead.
You go.
Go. I know. I'm gonna write it down. I already know what.
You already right. You say what you gonna say. People waiting.
We talked about this. What season do you think you're in?
What season?
Yeah, as of today, what season or how would you view
where you at?
I really feel, I don't know what I would call it, but I definitely feel, I shared this on the live like maybe 2 days ago. I'm in this purging season. I really feel like a friend of mine gave me that painting on my wall. If you're on my Patreon, you know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. And it's a little boy extending his arms. And that painting is called We Rise. Mm-hmm. And he said, I feel like you're, and he's coming out of mud. He said, I feel like you're coming out of the mud and there's a new beginning for you. Mm-hmm. And that's what I feel is happening. Like I purged the other day in yoga. I've never had that happen. I'm in yoga. It was a restorative class and I'm lying there, arms like this, and the music, the Zen music is going, and I just start crying.
Yeah. And
fortunately, you're like, they take a deep breath in and then let it out. I'm crying. I'm like, like when I'm letting it out, I'm crying. Yeah. So I really feel like I'm going through some sort of rebirth.
Okay.
I feel like there's something on the horizon. You know what I mean? And growth is painful. I say this all the time, but it's important and necessary to grow anyway. Yes. And sometimes that means stripping down, releasing things. It's almost like branches on a tree. Mm. Like I was out in the yard yesterday watering the grass, and like over here, I just heard like these trees just breaking and falling down. And I'm looking like, what the fuck? I thought it was like a deer running over there, but it was literally like limbs and shit falling down. And I feel like that's what's happening to me. Like things are breaking off and it's coming back. It's about to start blooming and blossoming. That's what I feel.
But I told you before the new year, I said to you, just all the private conversation stuff, I said, this year is going to be way different than every year that we have had. I said, I feel it's going to be like a change is going to be that year. And I also believe that the way you bring your new year in, it kind of plays a part of how your year is going to go, right? Mm-hmm. In certain aspects. And I was glad because I originally wasn't going to bring my new year in with Craig. Mm-hmm. I had a whole nother agenda, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember, I didn't even share this with you, but I remember, because he didn't even know I was coming, I remember, and I stopped. It was so crazy because I took the back road actually coming. I never come this house that way. But I remember it was like, you know how you get to a stop sign and you only can go left or right?
Yeah.
It was like, I stopped there. I said, do you want to go left to go to your original place, or do you want to go right and go to the Craig house? And that's how it literally was. And I actually went right, and I called. Did I call you?
Yeah.
I didn't think I called you.
I think you did. You said, I'm going to stop by.
I'm going to stop by it, but I wound up bringing it in. I think that was the best. I won't say the best decision I made, but that was a great decision I made at that point, because it was like, do you want to change something going forward, or do you want to continue living? Or it was like an eye opener that night for me. And I was just like, damn, like what the hell? So when I got here, I was like, bitch, I'm here. And you was like, oh, you really did stop, but I really stayed longer than what I was. But go ahead.
So the thing that I wanted to pivot to was these dating / sex apps.
Girl, we going back here. Oh Lord.
It's a different conversation though.
No, girl, we talked about that already.
No, we didn't. We did not talk about the apps.
Girl, you were talking, and you all on here on apps and on Jack and this and I got a home girl that did on this app.
I see the gay dating coaches list is watching.
Yeah, Lamont was you didn't hear me say his name earlier?
Yeah, I don't know what his name is.
Yeah.
But he hosted an event recently about gays in like the speed dating thing.
He always did. Lamont is really cool. Every time he has something, he always invite me. I have showed up to a couple of these events.
Brown skin girl.
I love me challenging Craig.
Brown skin girl, and I'm okay with being challenged. You know what I mean? It keeps me on my toes. Brown skin girl. They didn't know that I was in there crying. She's asking what did the rest of the class think about me purging and crying. They didn't know. That's what I'm saying. Like I was able to camouflage it, so they didn't know that I was crying. the dating and apps and stuff. What I'm saying is, I just think that we don't nurture. Like, let's just say you meet somebody and you're starting to date them. Too few of us take ourselves off the market. It's like you meet somebody and you're still on the market. And I'm not saying that you cut everybody off as soon as you meet somebody, but there has to be a turning point where you say, okay, I want to see where this is going to go. And you need to cut off all that other shit. And a lot of times people don't do that.
What's the turning point?
And like when you get to a point where you realize, I really like him, I'm digging him, and I need to really give my attention to this and see where it goes. You can't give your attention to it if you still got sex buddies in the corner, you still on Jack and Grinder. You understand what I'm saying? Like, how do you really nurture something and foster something? Like, I've literally been on dates. This was years ago. I've literally been on dates, and the boy is across from me responding to a message on Jack.
I mean, well, that's a lack of respect.
Correct. But that, again, is something that happens.
To me, I don't know. To me, I'm 50-50. I think that exclusively dating is a very commitment-based decision.
Of course it
and
is.
If I'm not rock solid sure, I don't know if I want to waste time just with one person to find out if they then my next relationship.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you're spending time with someone and you reach the 2-month mark, the 3-month mark, or 4-month mark, and you two haven't even said, let's be exclusive. You know whether or not you like a motherfucker. So why would you keep going out with people knowing your attention is over here? Why just go over here, go out, just going out with all these random people just for the sake of going out?
Put a time frame on it for us like 2 and 3 months.
That was just an example.
The
time frame is
connection.
when you realize there's a connection and you like a motherfucker, why continue to be going out with all these other people, all these ancillary people? You still texting other people.
Mentions are cancer. They've been asking.
This is why we're losing focus. Let them discuss what they think. But we having a conversation. You sitting there reading about what they think his sign is. Like, what is the point of that? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that because I'm definitely not one that's gonna be like, oh, let's be exclusive just because we spending time. Because I've been out with people. I've been out with people before. And I'll never forget, this guy I was dating, and he was just like, well, I'm ready. I don't want you to date anybody else. Like, I really like you. And I said, well, I haven't known you long enough to like give you that kind of attention. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I think you're cool, but I haven't gotten to that point yet where I'm going to be cutting people off.
Right.
Just, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I think it definitely is and again, it goes back to what we were saying a moment ago. I'm definitely not a person that thinks that you should just jump into a relationship. You know, just because, you know, you've been hanging out with somebody or you going out with somebody for a month or whatever. But I do think that there is a point where even if you and the other person haven't said, okay, we're going to be exclusive, you know when you like somebody.
But you know what, Craig? I think
do I like them enough to cut everybody else off? I think that's different.
I think sometimes in majority of the time, one person is going to reach that point before the other person.
Absolutely.
Right? So I think once you get to a point where you need to talk, and that can be a year. I know you gave a time frame, but that can be a year. But I think you genuinely know you get a different feeling when it's time to really just cut it off.
And to that point,
I think he's saying you could live in your mind by having multiple people that you have multiple feelings for, and you'll get there longer.
But I just think that they become a distraction.
That's what I mean.
To this relationship, and it's like
can't fully know you really like someone, because at some point you're gonna have to do a comparison.
Right.
Who makes me feel better? Who do I like better? You're gonna have to do a comparison at some point.
Right. And see, for me, like when I've dated multiple people at a time, somebody's always in the lead. And once I realize that you aren't satisfying me or you don't have my attention like that, I can cut you off. Same thing I think needs to happen whether you're on Tinder, Hinge, Jack, or Grinder, Facebook dating. I think at some point when you're spending time with somebody and you know you like them, I shouldn't have to say to you, when are you going to delete that app?
Right.
You should know in yourself, I need to cut this up, because that's the kind of shit I'm paying attention to.
But in that scenario, you are intentionally dating. Some people aren't intentionally
And
dating.
That's the core of what I'm
They
saying.
might be having fun with you, having a good time, spending time with you, laying that blah blah, but they're still single-minded and they're not intentionally dating you to get towards a relationship. They're intentionally dating you to enjoy today.
Mm-hmm. What that's what I'm trying.
So
to
I think that's a pre-conversation before you even
for sure.
about the app. You're saying, what are you when we go out on our first date? Are you even open to a relationship?
No, I mean, I'm not gonna ask that before we go on a date, but that's definitely gonna be one of the first conversations that I have. Like,
it sets the tone.
Yeah, it sets the tone. Like, are you dating because for me, I date with intention. If I'm spending time with you, I'm spending time with you because I see something on the horizon. Okay. I'm not gonna keep spending time with you consistently, not on no regular basis. That's just I have other stuff to do with my time. I can go out to eat with my friends.
To me, I'm both. Because I see different things. Everybody's ceiling is different.
Yeah.
Some people are good for casually dating and having a good time, and some people also you can see a foundation, you can see a life.
But see, when I think of casually dating, it ain't seeing you multiple times in a week back to back.
Maybe let's say
it depends.
Generational thing.
Yeah,
to me it is.
Because I agree with you. I agree with you.
I see that differently. Because like I'm not spending 4 days out of the time. I'm not doing that.
Time is of scarcity.
Time is scarce. We on the clock. We're dying every day.
That's different. I'm talking about like 2 jobs, kid. You got a business side hustle, a business. Your time is limited.
Well, I see all my time is limited.
Me, 1 job, no kid. I can move and do whatever I want to after 4 o'clock. So I have more availability.
I do think it's. I think it's more. I think the overall thing is like I agree with you, Meech. But I think for you, Craig, I don't want to say it's generational, but you just don't have no time to waste. I'm not saying we have time to waste, but I think we're a little more.
But mentally, he has no time to waste. To me, it's more about that. It's not about.
Yeah, I don't have time to give you my brain power, my energy, my effort,
and that's all
burning my gas.
And that's all about because of there's a lot of life you've experienced.
Right.
Yeah.
You have held yourself up to a place where it's not. People aren't worth your time. You know what I mean? People aren't worth your time if they don't have a history that can lead to something.
Right.
For me, I'm okay with that.
But I also think that attitude, or that attitude, I think that's why so many gay men get to the winter of their life and they're single, because they think they got all the time in the world to just play and date and not take anything seriously.
Things you can't get back for.
You can't get back time.
Mm-hmm.
What T-Ray want to say?
Hi.
Oh, that's my girl. What's up?
Hey, how are y'all?
How are you?
I'm great. I'm about to go to the gym. I wanted to speak to a point that Meech made because I recently had to have that conversation with somebody. So when I date, I'm not giving you exclusivity until we sit down and have that conversation. But there are some men who expect me to only go out to eat with them, to only text them, to only call them. And I'm like, sweetheart, you have not done anything for me to make this spot in my life exclusive to you. And he was like, oh, well, you're irresponsibly dating. I'm like, no, I'm not irresponsibly dating. I didn't say, hi, my name is T-Ray, and I want to exclusively get to know you better to see what happens. I never said that. You came in here with that expectation. I told you that I was single and I wanted to get to know you better. That doesn't mean that you can police who I'm having, who I have communication with. When you prove that I only need to give you communication, because that's my thing with dating. I think that your energy, your character, all those things, that's going to make somebody say, I don't want to talk to anybody else. I want to talk to that person because of what they're bringing to this situation. And so many people now, they don't want to earn it. They just want it from day one. And it's like, nigga, get out of here. And then when y'all were talking earlier about, I lost my train of thought. Y'all were talking earlier about, never mind. I'll stick to this point because now I can't remember. But Meech, that is a battle that I have because I'm not going to. I tried the whole. I met this guy a couple of years ago, and I tried the whole. Let me just focus on him. I gave that nigga a year and a half of me not talking to nobody, and it didn't go nowhere.
Oh no, see, I'm not saying that.
No, I didn't. No. I didn't say you did. I'm just giving you an example of something that I tried because I wanted to step outside of my comfort to see if my results would be different, and they weren't. And I'm not knocking anybody that does because I know somebody personally, and she's a woman that when she's talking to one guy, she focuses everything on that guy, and that's her preference. I'm just not that type of woman.
Yeah, I'm not that type of guy.
You're right.
I'm not doing that.
And that could also be unappealing to somebody. Like you focus all on me already.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not doing
exactly.
earn your full
attention. And if I'm spending time with you,
Let me
and it feels mutual, and we're spending time, and we're talking about we're down the line, a few months down the line, then yeah, I can start pulling back from everybody else. If I feel like I have some sort of a connection, there might be something there. Then I can. That's something for me. I don't necessarily.
Craig, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. You just reminded me of my point. Yes. So when y'all were talking, I'm sorry, I had a call. When y'all were talking about the whole talking about money thing, I had this conversation to go with a guy. He kept trying to make the conversation sexual, and I kept trying to route him back to a non-sexual conversation. So when he said it again, I said, "Sir, what's your annual salary?" And he said, "Excuse me." I said, "What you mean, excuse me? You wanted to talk about dick pics and how big it is and all this other shit, but now you want to tiptoe about your salary." I said, I said, "So now since you made me uncomfortable, your ass gonna be uncomfortable. Let's talk about it. What's your credit score? What's your credit utilization?
That's what I'm talking about.
What kind of assets do you have? Do you own any property?" And I wasn't trying to do that to shame him. I did that to prove a point. So many people out here date. They don't mind going the ends of the world to try to have a threesome with you day one, to try to stick it in every hole in your body. But the minute you talk about money, oh, you doing too much. You in my business.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah. I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, T-Ray, about your first point about exclusivity. There are some men, especially straight men, just because I have a lot of straight male friends, who feel like they're like a high value man.
But they're a commodity.
So you can't date somebody else from them because it takes away from them. Like, oh, you're saying I'm not
right.
But I be saying like, well, she hasn't seen enough to know that you are more than
You
haven't built that type of availability or structure with her to know that you could be a family man, that you could be a father. Nigga, it's y'all second or third date. Why would she close off all options that she barely know your last name? So I think
in addition, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You're the guest.
No, I want to hear your point. Go ahead.
No, I think that they have some type of, because they've known themselves their whole life. So there's an entitlement to other people's time. If I'm giving you my time, rather if you know me 24 hours or 24 months, I should get all your time because I'm such a prize.
I'm a prize. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of men these days that, especially straight men, who want to be the prize too. And I think that men are catches. I think women are prizes. I think there's two different ways to get there. But a lot of men want to be treated as the prize too. You're a good catch. You're not the prize. The woman is the prize. I don't think that we always align on who should be courting who, what mutual interest is, what compatibility is. Like there be so much disconnect, even when there's genuine life. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. And unfortunately, right now, when it comes to straight people or whatever in the Black community, we are so gung-ho right now arguing with one another. Every Black woman wants to argue, oh, men ain't da-da-da-da-da-da. Then the Black man, oh, women ain't da-da-da-da. And so when I get in those conversations, I'm like, well, what the hell is the solution?
Right.
And then nobody, because the money, because what I found, the clicks and the views, you get that by arguing. I mean, if we go back to Kevin Samuels, God rest his soul. When Kevin Samuels was initially, when he hit the scene, he was talking about how men need to be better, be accountable, da da da. But that wasn't getting the clicks and views. But the minute,
until he started lecturing.
yeah, the minute he started waxing with black women and going back and forth with them, his views shot up. And then as soon as he saw the uptick, he rested in that vein of talking points. So now that he's passed, all these other black men who, like to your point, Meech, think they're high value and this and the third. Meanwhile, they ain't got a pot to piss in or the window to throw it out of in terms of value, because value ain't got nothing to do with your bank account. It has nothing to do with your job. It has nothing to do with the size of your peen. Value is the intangible thing.
Right.
What's your character? And like you said, exactly. And like you said, when you first meet somebody, I don't have enough time to fully identify what your value is. But if you give it time for us to nurture this thing, then I can see what your value is. And that's just like me as a woman. I'm gonna be real with y'all, because I've grown. When I was younger, I used to walk around the world like, shit, I'm single, I ain't got no kids. But then I had to learn, what was my character bringing to the situation to make this man say, hey, I want to be with you. And when I started to do that and I sifted through my character, I realized I got some work to do on myself.
Yeah.
Because my character isn't high value.
Right. All right, well, thank you.
So that's it.
Carry your butt into the gym.
I am, but real quick, I want to say this. Keon, I see you. You growing as a man. I'm proud of you. And I love that you are getting to a place where you can be vulnerable and show us that. Because, Craig is Mr. Vulnerability, and we love that about him. But I love that you are being vulnerable and being honest, and I love that. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Y'all have a good night. I'm going to listen while I'm stretching. I will. Bye, y'all.
Have a great one.
That was nice.
Yeah, I love when people just come on here and they've been watching for so they're comfortable to say everything they want to say, because there's a lot of people on here, believe it or not, they'll watch, but they won't never say that. Yeah. But they'll write us on Instagram, Facebook, and they'll be like saying stuff or whatever. They're like, why do you say that when we live? Like,
that's not the
Hey girl, hey, live from Dubai.
It is raining, honey. Y'all got us out. Y'all got an hour and 47 minutes of our time.
What they say? Meech what?
Meech house mother. That Avonda is tearing my phrases up. She said, girl, land the plane. Now she said, my ears are bleeding. I say that when somebody talking, my ears are. I'm like, oh my God, my ears are bleeding.
And when I talk to y'all, I say, girl, land the plane. But yeah, it's always a good time. It's always a good time, man. I definitely enjoy our Thursday night. Y'all definitely gonna got some Patreon tonight. Craig is gonna edit this video and put it up, child. I'll catch another one another time. But y'all gonna get some. We gonna drop the video, Craig. By tomorrow, you probably drop it.
Yeah, because I dropped one today. So the one from last night. So this will probably be tomorrow. I know I mentioned last night that my page wasn't monetized. I was able to do a little dispute video last night, and now it's back monetized. Child, woke up, I said, oh, thank you, Jesus. God is good. But no, thank y'all for supporting us each and every week. For those who send the cash app, thank y'all so much. Thank you, Shauna, for the
Usher, send the collection plates around. They ain't send the collection plates around none tonight.
Yeah, because they've been so good in these comments.
We know it's tax season. We know y'all direct deposit hit tomorrow. Some of them got cash app at Navy Federal, so it hit early. So send the collection plates around.
Thank you, Barbara Hyman, Nicola Morrison behind her smile, and Shauna for the Zelle. Thank you very much.
Go ahead, Craig. Close us out. Brush your teeth.
Brush your teeth, floss your teeth, brush your tongue. If you haven't brushed your tongue, then you really haven't brushed your teeth, and that's why nobody want to fucking kiss you.
So until next time,
you can purchase books at KeonStafford.com as well as merchandise. And greeting cards at sayitinaCard.com.
Green, you want to say anything else before I chunk up my dudes?
We have breakup cards, trouble relationship cards, trouble friendship cards, love cards, all of that stuff. Support a Black business. Bye.
You done?
I'm done.
All right. Bye.
Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig, the writer Stewart. Yes.
I told you we ain't using that no more.
You got another intro? Did you come up with an intro?
I think I'll give it a shot.
All right, well, let's see what you
What's
got.
going on? It is your boy KeonStafford.
And I'm Craig, the writer Stewart.
And this is your official invitation to our Patreon video.
The link is scrolling right here. It's patreon.com/Craig and Keon.
Get on over there right now and hit the link and subscribe to our channel.
It's for all of our exclusive content. You're not going to see it anyplace else. So join now. And if you want to join mine, it's patreon.com/Craig the writer Stewart. Bye.
David,
Say bye. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye.